This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hey wrestling fans, welcome to episode number 53 of Off the Top Rope, a pro wrestling podcast. I'm Mike, and with me as always is Rex. How's it going, Rex?
It's going. How about yourself, my man?
Doing alright. Even though before we started the show you made me shelve a fight for next week.
I did. Sorry folks that were anticipating the great debate. It is being shelved for a week.
You know me, there's not much I like more than tearing into Triple H.
I should just make you watch his Iron Man match next week.
It'd be a dick move.
Yeah. No, wouldn't it? It would be glorious. That's a great match.
Alright, but this week we got some TNA stuff for you. We've got Occupy Raw, which even as a lefty I have to say might have been the only Occupy that ever accomplished anything.
Yeah, probably.
We've got WrestleWar 91.
Ooh.
Which might have one of the most racist segments on it I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of bad segments on this card.
There's a lot of good, though, in here, too. There's a lot of decent.
Yeah, but, oh man, taking shots at Olsen, really?
Alright, but should we kick things off with TNA tripping over their own dick again at LockDown?
Yes. Oh my god, fucking TNA. Holy shit.
And what's weird is, up until then, the show hadn't been bad. There had been nothing that was like, oh my god, you gotta go out and see this, but it was pretty watchable.
Yeah, I mean, Storm and Gunner was better than I thought it was going to be. Granted, did they ever announce that it was going to be last man standing before the card?
The Thursday before.
Oh, I didn't remember that announcement, so I was surprised by it. So, yeah, it was a decent enough match. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
You know, they put Sonata over.
Mm-hmm.
And...
you know, Manic and Tigre Uno.
A little spotty, but fun.
Yeah. Kind of disappointing it was in the cage, though.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a match that really could have benefited from not being in the cage.
Yeah, it's hard to do dives in a cage.
Yeah. Can't really use the ropes as much as you want to springboard off shit. Cam Rain sucked, but it's Madison Rain wrestling. What do you expect?
I mean,
yeah.
I thought that one wasn't, especially on a show where you've got Shaw Anderson. I'm willing to give that a little leeway.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
At least there were some big bumps and stuff in that one, you know. It was stuff that's like, oh damn, you know, even if it wasn't the most.
I may be being more harsh on it just by virtue of it being on this card.
But the last two matches just...
No. Let's talk the ridiculousness of Shaw Anderson first. What the fuck was that? Holy shit. I was hoping that they got all their ridiculous Russo-ness out of the way in that match. Where Anderson wins, but then doesn't win because the ref is knocked out and Shaw has dragged him through the damn hole. Oh my god, and none of the match before it was any good.
No.
And I'm pretty sure Ken Anderson just told Shaw how to commit suicide. Was that not?
Yeah.
His opening thing was encouraging him to commit suicide.
Well, it was Tim telling him that Shad kind of said that he was going to commit suicide if Christy Hemme didn't come out. Which, speaking of, I mean, I understand them really wanting to go like new directions with the characters and everything, but if you're going to go this direction, can't you find a better actress than Christy Hemme?
Yes, because guess what? Shaw has actually been very awesome. He's been holding up his end, but it's Christy Hemme. Well, okay, let's think about this though. What happened the last time they went out there looking for an actress?
True.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, man. But yeah, Shaw wins the match by ridiculousness.
Which, typically in wrestling is the best way to win. But less so in this situation, just because.
It was just insane. Oh my god. But yeah, then we get to the main events.
And even in a cage match, TNA can't help itself.
No, I kind of feel bad for Magnus at this point. Like, I defended, him and said he should have actually won the Bound for Glory series, should have won the title then. And then, even as like this heel champion, they've just completely shit the bed with his booking. Are we supposed to take Magnus seriously at all?
I don't think so.
Like, even as I'm not serious, like, oh, okay, we want a chicken heel champ. This isn't the way to go about it. If they had done this without all the previous ridiculous matches, it would be a little bit easier to swallow. But at this point, it's a bridge too far.
And I gotta admit, I mean, of the recent stuff, especially for it being TNA angles, like, I really liked the Abyss Young TV promo. Doesn't make any sense at all whenever you really think about it, but kind of as a promo, I really liked it from TV a couple weeks ago. And, this stuff, I mean, God, I don't know where they're going. And not in a good way.
I don't think they know where they're going.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, in the cage match, they had a spot where Abyss popped up from the ring and dragged Joe underneath. Joe escaped and seemed like he was going to be a man on fire and kill Magnus, but then Abyss popped up with a nail bat? I don't know what to call it.
His Janus.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that they got a name. Hit Samoa Joe with it. Magnus wins. He looks like he's going to go after Magnus, but then Magnus kind of nods, and they're buddies now, apparently. And they kind of botched the coming up to the ring.
A little bit.
Like, Joe had to kind of crawl himself in there. Oh, my God. He just can't make this shit up. God, fucking TNA.
And then in the very next match, the one really compelling heel they've had, in spite of all the shit that they've given him.
Bobby Roode.
Oh, okay, Bobby Roode hasn't been bad, but I was actually talking about Bully.
Oh, yeah.
You turn him face.
Because that's what we all want. The return of the Twitter. Ugh.
And I guess the implication is that MVP paid him off.
Is that the implication?
Yeah.
Maybe he was just sick of Dixie. I don't know. I'm sure we won't find out on Thursday. Or if they decide to explain it, it's going to be more absurd than a simple "he paid me" or "fuck Dixie."
And and making things worse for TNA. I said making things worse for TNA beyond just the booking is
the Willow.
Well, we can get into that in a second. I was actually going to talk about the fact that until the day of the show, 900 tickets have been sold for Lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's no real way to defend that.
No.
Whenever, TNA's been taking all these steps. A year ago, admittedly, it was a special situation, and they probably booked a too big arena at that point, but they drew 7,000. And not even like in the Worked Wrestling thing. That was their biggest crowd ever in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck do you not go back to San Antonio after they give you that kind of love?
I do not know. I don't know. They couldn't afford the gas to get there.
So they had to go to Miami.
Yeah.
Which is anybody who follows baseball will tell you, unless it's like the Dolphins, Miami doesn't go out and really see anything.
They don't even go out to see the Dolphins. Are you kidding me? Have you seen the Dolphins attendance the last few years? But yeah. And the match wasn't even like that good before the ridiculousness, honestly. There was a couple of fun spots near the end. But I thought, especially for the amount of talent they had in there, holy shit, that sucked. I don't know if it was just there's too many people in there and too small a space, but I didn't really enjoy the match at all.
I think that's a big part of it, is the fact that a War Game style match, you need the double cage setup if you're going to have 8 or 10 men in a ring.
Yeah. If you do 6, that works, but 8 is too much.
And so, yeah, I mean, you get, there's not really any room to work. But speaking of, as much shit as we like to give TNA, I do think that there are times where people look for things, because I was reading some people complaining, and one of their complaints was they made it too obvious that Willow was Jeff Hardy. It's like, really?
Okay. Of the various complaints there are to have of Willow, that is not one of them.
And I can't even tell you where I read it, but I read it on one of the forums. Someone was complaining. Yeah. It's like, sure, some people might have known, but they shouldn't have made it that obvious.
No, in that situation, that's something we get to steer into the skid.
But, yeah, I mean, overall, it was a show that was on its way to being fine, and it just completely nosedove.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the crowd liked seeing Dixie kind of get her comeuppance, but it was such a... Given everything that kind of through the character that has happened to her, it's such a cheap comeuppance.
Yeah.
Styles at Bound for Glory was better, but then Styles disappeared. And then he left, and he's not coming back.
Yeah. Oh, how did we miss, speaking of people coming back, how did we miss talking about it? All that money they can't afford to pay AJ and can't afford to pay talents with? Bobby Lashley.
Speaking of AJ, because I honestly find this subject far more interesting than talking about Bobby Lashley. What do you think about the reports that he's about to start with New Japan?
Should be fun. Looking forward to it. A lot of great matchups there. He finally, gets a chance to sort of add some more feathers in his cap before he rides off into the sunset. Because he's getting old. Although in New Japan time, he's not that old.
But it's almost assuredly a given that, even if he is working New Japan, he's going to be one of the guys for Jarrett's new company, right? You think?
I don't know.
Well, should we mention that apparently the day
There's
after
an announcement for the
WrestleMania,
announcement?
yeah, they've been running these videos, and these videos are kind of cheesy, like so good they're bad on some aspects. It looks like almost like it's like there's gonna be a Jeff Karen porno from the way the videos have been produced and everything.
Yeah, it's what you would expect from hype videos for a Jeff Jarrett promotion.
But I mean, with all that, everything's gonna come down to is is the promotion gonna have anybody interesting in it?
I don't know, because it seemed, because I don't know what their strategy is going to be here. Are they going to go for TNA style, pick up the retreads? Because there seems to be hinting that that's what they're going to do, so I don't know. Like, I mean, shit, are they going to work as an exclusive contract? Or, I imagine they can at this point, right? Like, I have no idea. It will be, at the very least, interesting and most likely a complete shit show.
And it is kind of funny though that with this stuff, I mean, and with AAA trying to get more US names for their launch, that wrestlers, not necessarily your guys that are, if they're not in WWE, there's not really a spot for them, but your Rey Mysterios, your AJ Styles, guys like that, I mean, there might actually be there might be places for them to go, then a chance for them to kind of build their own value.
Yeah, but I'll be kind of sad if that's the route they go. At least if that's what they think of as building the bedrock of their promotion with.
I think guys like that would have a value, though.
They'd have a value. I'm just worried that they'll think of that as their biggest source of value, and they won't try and build something. They won't do like a Paul Heyman plan for TNA, or like you keep a couple of the older guys, so you have some name value, you have some veterans to help build up younger guys, but you got to think about it as, well, let's build around the younger talent that we can have for a while. Let's be honest, if you're building a promotion, do you want your bedrock to be very injury prone 2014 Rey Mysterio?
As your in-ring ace, I don't necessarily know if you want that as the guy that you put on all your posters and, sell and t-shirts and everything. I don't know, I think that there's as much value with him as pretty much anybody else that you could get.
Yeah.
Because I think that, while there is kind of a little bit of smart coming down on his work, I mean, I think to the general fan, memories of Rey Mysterio are very positive. Now, keep in mind that, if they don't do anything with it, that TNA at one point had the hottest babyface in wrestling in Jeff Hardy, and now he means like an extra 300 buys, if that seems like.
Yeah, it was weird. Even when they had, even after all they tanked on Jeff Hardy, he was still the only one that was moving buys for him by the few thousands. Like, it was at least 3,000 if I remember right for his last sort of bigger pay-per-view where he could be considered headlining it. But I don't know. We'll see.
And, whenever I kind of mention that, it's the same thing whenever I talk about how I like TNA to be good. I think that more people in wrestling is generally a good thing, and I hope that they're able to do something because it would create a better working environment for the wrestlers if they're successful at all.
Yep, I'm worried that there's not going to be anything that's going to make it different from TNA. And we'll see. And the thing, like, my way to fix TNA would be to return its identity and those aspects that used to make TNA in a good way. It used to make TNA fun, like the X Division. Which, by the way, am I the only one that thought that Kenny King's new promo, I thought it was a beer commercial? King of the Night.
Yeah, but at least it seems like they're doing something with him.
How many times have we said that before?
Yeah. Well, they brought him
3
back
weeks.
that one point for like a month and then didn't use him again.
Yeah, every few months they want to tease me and seem like they're going to put an emphasis back on, like, try and build back up the X Division, and then nope. Nope. Or their once good tag scene. Oh, TNA, I used to like you.
So should we talk about Raw now?
Yes, let's talk about Raw.
All right.
Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with Occupy Raw because it's
All right. Can I just say I thought that was a brilliant segment. I don't think they could have set up the Triple H Bryan match any better.
See, I was actually expecting, that's something that might have made it a little more obvious, but I was actually expecting whenever all that happened, more stakes to kind of come from Bryan's side. Something along the lines of, if he beats Triple H, he gets added to the title match. If he loses his job. He's become too much of a pain in the ass for it to be best for business anymore.
No, I think that's adding a little too much, and I think that doesn't give them enough flexibility. I don't know. It was entertaining, to say the least, and I like that they kind of made it feel like a big moment. Where if it was more something with Bryan finally getting his way without, all these fans in quotes in the ring and around it, that it would just be like, oh, okay, it's another accepting the challenge thing. But now we sort of have like a nice benchmark moment for Bryan again. Sort of building, like, boom, he had the Wyatt cage match, and everyone's cheering with him. Now there's people in the ring with him, and it sort of made it memorable, I guess. And I think that's an important thing, that it wasn't just getting Triple H to accept the match, it was getting them to do it in something that's memorable, something that will be that years down the line we'll look back and think, oh yeah, everyone was cheering and it was a great moment, yada yada. Occupy Raw. Also, it's kind of great that they hijacked more of the dumbass movements in terms of wrestling movements, like the hijack Raw thing.
With the whole thing, the one that I kind of found odd, particularly considering these, he's a total heel, Sandow's using that. It seemed a little random.
Yeah, but he played it perfectly. It was great. He, marches out there and tells people to part, and they won't. And he's just kind of like, he was the perfect combination of like arrogant and chicken shit heel to pull it off. To where, better run out of here.
So, otherwise, they've got, and I've got to say this, I mean, a lot of people I usually don't mind per se a lot of Cena's more joking promos. This time it really kind of bugged me. Because Wyatt's such a unique character. And no, it's not just because I'm a Wyatt fan, which God knows anybody who listens to the show knows I am, but it's more just Wyatt is basically it'd be like the only other character that I could kind of compare it all to would be if he was dressing down The Undertaker. Pointed out the guy liner and pointed out, you know, you're a 50-year-old man, Mark. Why are you still shopping at Hot Topic kind of thing?
See, I thought it kind of worked because one, I marked for Buffett. But two, I don't know. I thought it worked in creating that nice contrast where, yes, he is this serious threat, and Cena's going to try and play it off like he normally does. And I feel like they're going to play that into the story more. That Cena is going to turn around to start, as we get closer, taking it more seriously, so to say. And he'll start to recognize, oh shit, this actually is like a big threat to me.
I don't know.
And it gave Wyatt had that great response, and especially later got to get his own singing in. So
yeah, and I'd probably buy an album of him doing like classic rock covers, to be honest.
And I didn't really mind that he pointed out the flaws in Wyatt's thing. I thought that was nice. Like, he is a crazy cult leader. There's going to be some sort of logical flaws there. I expect Cena to be the man that's going to point out that mistake. It didn't bother me as much as it seemed to bother you, because Wyatt got to fire back with it. And fire back, sort of responding to Cena's, jokiness with his, comments about him still being a threat, and you're gonna regret. Yeah, I forget what he said. He's Wyatt. It was too amazing, but he kind of did respond to like the Cena seeming to brush it off as like a defense mechanism almost, because Wyatt is God.
That's the thing. I mean, he had two really good promos of Raw. It's just, and honestly, if they'd kept pretty much most of the things the same and left out the part about a Cracker Barrel rocking chair, I don't think it would have bothered me that much. But it felt like such a fourth wheel breaking moment with a character that you don't do that with.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like the contrast.
Can we get, by the way, speaking of Raw, can we get the Shield and Rhodes to wrestle every week for the end of time?
Yes.
See,
Yes.
I don't believe that they actually will do that. That would be best for business, but I don't believe it. But, great stuff there. On the other hand, I am starting to believe that they will run Christian Sheamus till the end of time.
Which, you know what? I haven't hated it as much as everyone else. I actually really liked their match last night.
I thought it was a good match, but it's just...
I even kind of enjoyed their match last week, and at least they've kind of given them some semblance of a story.
I don't know, I feel like there needs to be a more natural elevation beyond just like fans voting for the match type, and
Yeah.
especially if they're going to keep running it seemingly through Mania. Which again, what makes the WrestleMania match special if it's something that we've seen this many times before the event?
Are they actually going to do that as a Mania match?
I've been told that that's still in the rumor. That's still...
I feel like that's something we're going to see played out more in the Andre the Giant over-the-top 30-man Memorial Battle Royal, which is the greatest thing in the history of mankind.
And I have to say, it is weird that Big E's already... that they've kind of seemingly, unless he loses the title beforehand, scrapped a Intercontinental title match for the show.
Yeah, that would seem to be the case. But we're going to get Cesaro Swagger at Mania. Hopefully Swagger doesn't kill Cesaro.
Unless they're both in the 30-man Battle Royal.
Yeah. Once again, though, hopefully Swagger doesn't kill Cesaro. I actually kind of have Cesaro as my odds-on favorite to win the Royal. But I hope they get to throw in enough NXT talent. And I do wonder if that's going to be their way of debuting someone from NXT big. I mean, I guess there's the Rusev possibility, but I wonder if we're going to get maybe like someone we're not expecting to win it from NXT.
Speaking of, can they finally just fucking debut him already? I don't think that
Rusev?
I don't think that the Russian Vicky Guerrero segments are gaining as much heat as they kind of feel like they are.
Can I just say, though, I love he's got the little metal stands. That's, that cracks me up. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Like, fuck. I get that it's Mania season, so then you shouldn't have teased him coming up and, done it that early then. I don't know. We'll probably see him in the Battle Royal, make a huge impact, if not win it.
Yeah, but even then, I
Although,
mean, would it even if he's just killing like your Zack Ryders and you know,
I want to see him kill Zack Ryder. Why is that not a thing that's happening?
apparently it is on house shows, just not.
Hmm.
It does seem kind of weird though how tightly pared down the WWE roster seems to feel right now across the two main shows. And some might be guys that have been hurt, but I can't recall the last time I saw Kofi in a match.
I think it is that sort of Mania. Let's focus on the storylines that are actually going to have matches at Mania.
And they've been pushing the Real Americans and stuff. And the guy that shit, I know he had the match tonight. I didn't watch main event, but Mark Henry, he's been on TV like once, twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are on like the JTG watch. Like these guys are still employed, it feels like.
Yeah,
Which apparently their thing is they're just not going to cut anyone now and just wait till their contracts expire.
speaking of a certain kind of whiny Mr. Writer, what did you think of his new YouTube show?
He has a new YouTube show.
Yes.
I haven't seen it.
It's called Zack Ryder's Last Resort, and it's one episode so far, and it's just him cutting this kind of angry promo in front of a wall.
Huh. Is it at least humorous?
No.
Hmm. No idea. Well, I haven't seen it yet, so
I'd say you're missing something, but I mean, it's not like it's a horrible promo. It's just, eh.
do you think this is an actual angle they're trying to run, or is it really just him sort of being like, fuck this shit, burn the house
Well, I mean,
down?
he put it on his own YouTube as opposed to the WWE one, so
Huh.
I will.
Is he trying to catch fire, catch fire in a bottle again, or however the phrase goes?
That's even kind of what he says in the promo that he's making his own opportunities again.
Uh-huh.
But yeah.
Oh boy.
His social media stuff will work great whenever he's getting bookings for Ohio Valley.
Oh man. I'm trying to think what else was on Raw of any importance.
Um,
Big Show's still a thing.
yes.
Brought him back.
Yes, he is, I guess.
Do you think, well, now I think about it, do you think he ends up winning the Andre the Giant thing? Since he's never had his WrestleMania moment.
I thought that's why they put him over Cody Rhodes for some god-awful reason.
Oh, God, I forgot he actually went over Rhodes in that match. Oh, man. I'm going to say it. I miss masked Cody Rhodes. I miss the bags. I miss that Cody Rhodes. I even miss Dashing Cody Rhodes.
Dashing Cody Rhodes was awesome.
All Cody Rhodes incarnations are awesome. Mustache Rhodes.
Even good brother Rhodes.
Yeah, that was, I gotta admit, it was kind of weird to see them back on Raw. They kind of disappeared for a while.
Yeah, another kind of thing where it seemed like, they hadn't really been on TV since they lost their titles.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, made me very sad.
And then, Daniel Bryan and pinning Randy Orton again.
Yeah. You think he ends up winning the title at Mania, or do you think they push off his win again?
I don't know. I don't know with that, to be honest.
Because I'm kind of conflicted. I kind of see them pushing it off, and I can see where they want to keep building that. But it does seem weird that they would want to end their 30th WrestleMania on a high note. You know what I'm saying? Like, do they really want to end the 30th WrestleMania with a near riot?
Yeah, and that's part of the big reason why I think it would happen at Mania.
And maybe drop it SummerSlam or even earlier?
Probably earlier.
Sweet.
What?
I was just sitting there thinking to myself, I'm surprised that they're not using it as an opportunity to get it both ways. Split the titles again. Make it first pinfall gets WHC, second pinfall gets WWE.
Kind of reminds me of something I saw on Reddit, where someone was coming up with what would actually happen at WrestleMania, and it'd be after a 45-minute epic between Orton and Batista, they collapse on top of each other. Triple H comes out and says they're both champions and gives them each a title.
Wow. They really think Batista could go 45 minutes without collapsing?
Of course, he's the last real man.
Yep.
Speaking of, I think Silas Young wants his gimmick back. Batista.
Oh my god, it still amazes me that he's related to Stan Hansen. Poor fella.
All right, should we take a break, come back and talk some WrestleWar?
Yes, we shall.
All right. We'll be right back, everybody.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right.
You see, life is greatness, and greatness is what you make out of it, you understand?
Hey, everybody, it's Mike and Rex from Off the Top Rope. We wanted to take this break to let you know all the ways you can interact with the show and all the ways you can listen to the show. You can get links to everything we talk about here from our website, which is offthetoprope.libsyn. That's LIBSYN.com.
If you want to email the show, it's topropepodcast@gmail.com. We'll read your comments on the air, so let us know what you think.
To follow us on Twitter, we're at Top Rope Podcast. We tweet show updates, post the show as soon as it's up, retweet news from around the world of wrestling, and sometimes it's just random wrestling thoughts by yours truly. All wrestling talk, all the time on Twitter.
You can now like us on Facebook at facebook.com/topropepodcast. This is still new, but we're going to be working on adding pictures, links, and all kinds of good stuff.
You can follow us on Tumblr at topropepodcast.tumblr.com. There we post matches of the day, wrestlers of the day. We try and update those just about every day. We add random photos, lots of fun stuff. Now if you want to listen to us, you can listen to us through an RSS reader. If you want to listen to the show through an Android app like Dogcatcher, Linux program like Rhythmbox, or a Windows program like Media Monkey, among many others, this is the way you do it. You'll make sure the episodes are delivered to you just as soon as they're uploaded.
If you're on iTunes, we're available there too. Just do a search for Off the Top Rope. Look for our logo, subscribe, give us a good review.
We're also available on Stitcher. Just search Off the Top Rope or Pro Wrestling. Either way, we're right there on the front page. There are lots of ways to interact with the show and lots of ways to get the show to your computer, iPhone or iPad, Android device, BlackBerry, whatever you use to listen to podcasts. We hope you check us out, and we'll be right back with the show review.
Take a look at it. Learn to love it. I'm not going anywhere.
Alright, so WrestleWar 91, which took place in Phoenix, of all places, which not exactly where you'd expect a WCW show in 1991 to take.
No, not at all. I mean, they share the racism, but
yeah, you kick things off right away with a six-man title match. As the champions, Ricky Morton, Tommy Rich, and the Junkyard Dog defend against the State Patrol and Big Cat.
God. I wish we had six-man titles in WWE right now.
Who would be the equivalency of Ricky Morton, Tommy Rich, and JYD at this point? Like Santino,
Biggie?
I think he'd be below any of these guys. Or above, brother, with him being.
Ezekiel Jackson.
Yeah, maybe. You're just naming black dudes for the JYD spot. That's racist.
No comment.
But yeah, I mean, it's...
You know what? Maybe I was really thinking of it for the Tommy Rich spot, all right?
No, Miz would be Tommy Rich, the former world champion who's now basically a jobber. Or would that be Dolph, unfortunately?
Either or. Wait, can Dolph be Ricky Morton?
Yeah, maybe. So it'd be Dolph, the Miz, and, like... I hate to go with the black guy just for... Well, I was going to say, like, maybe Kofi with his spot.
Nah, he's not a good JYD.
Well, not necessarily in, like, stature, but more like, you know, jobber who sometimes gets a win or two.
Huh. Heath Slater?
But he's a heel.
Oh, good point.
No, three-man band would be State Patrol and Big Cat.
Yeah. This match was not good, but it wasn't horrible.
No, it wasn't. It was fine. You know, they had some face and pearl stuff, which Rich and Morton are fine at. You know, JYD only kind of came in for his big spots. And considering, you know, most of the people involved, I thought it was better than you'd expect.
Yeah, I was like an absolute, like, this would be negative. Holy crap. I hate this match. But I didn't hate it.
No, kind of had a goofy ending.
I just derived no joy from it. Except that I got to see that there was a team at one time of JYD, Ricky Morton, and Tommy Rich.
And then we got to talk about the ending. JYD's the legal man. He hits the thump on Buddy Lee Parker, gets a 2 count, and then Ricky Morton kind of just slides in and pins him anyway.
Yeah.
WCW did some really interesting things with some of the finishes on the show. They don't always work, but it definitely did seem like they were going against type with a lot of the finishes.
I mean, I guess if that's how you want to put it.
As I said, I think it works a little more in some matches, and in some it doesn't. And this one, as I said, it just kind of came off as kind of goofy.
Which was the perfect ending to this match.
And so, yeah, I mean, there's not a ton to talk about here, and from there we go to something much better.
Yes.
Oh, after a Terry Reynolds promo.
Oh, well, I was much better.
Quite a bit better.
Maybe.
But, yeah, you had a Terry Reynolds promo, which, that apparently there's a no disqualification match later between Terrence Taylor and the Z-Man.
Oh, the Z-Man.
I know, Rex. I know you love the Z-Man.
I kind of do. He's kind of become a folk hero for me. He's what gets me through all these early 90s WCW shows. It's the Z-Man.
Just loved him because he was WCW's sexiest wrestler.
Was that an
It
official
was
thing?
an official thing. And for at least a short period of time, Gary Michael Capetta had to introduce him. It was like very clearly their take on Time's sexiest man. Or is it people? I don't fucking know. But yeah.
Get reading material in the South at this point.
Well, I mean, it's just Ted Turner Publications, so. Were they assist? Yeah, they were with Time at that point, were they? Or
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Before my time.
All right, so from there we go to Brad Armstrong and Beautiful Bobby.
Yeah, no wonder you think this match is so great.
Well, yeah.
It's got Bobby Eaton.
Yeah, and he gets to go over. How often do we watch Bobby Eaton matches where he actually gets the win?
Have we seen one yet?
We've seen Midnight Express stuff where they won. But yeah, I mean, as the heels, they yeah. Bash 90.
Oh yeah, okay.
Didn't they win the War Games at Bash 89?
Were they in
Yeah, they were with Dr. Death and the Road Warriors.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me.
Of a really great match. You're welcome, asshole.
No, just that I had to watch the Road Warriors. As the people know, I am not a big fan of the Road Warriors.
You're not a big fan of anything except Triple H, the Z-Man, and Davey Richards.
Hey, I'm actually not a big fan of Davey Richards. I will defend his capability, but I would not consider myself a big fan. I have the same problems with this style that you do, except on occasion I kind of enjoy it. You left out Brian Pillman.
No, you don't get Brian Pillman, asshole.
I get Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman's my hometown boy. You don't get Brian Pillman.
I was a Brian Pillman fan before you were born.
You got the Zinc. He's a Minnesota guy.
I don't want the Zinc. We traded.
You get the Road Warriors, Minnesota. There you
go. All right, but Armstrong and Eaton, and yeah, it's actually pretty damn good. Well, I mean, not actually, with it being Armstrong and Eaton, but, you know, they're given a good amount of time. It's not...
I wouldn't go pretty damn good. It was good.
It's not great, but I'd put it damn good.
I wouldn't give it the damn modifier.
Oh, look at Mr. Stingy.
Yep. Screw you, Bobby Eaton.
Hey, Bob Eaton does not deserve that. Bob Eaton is
Also,
a saint.
also,
A
we had to sit here
mulleted
and listen to
saint.
talk of Road Dogg on an early 90s WCW pay-per-view.
Just briefly.
Just briefly. For those that have watched the show and don't realize, Road Dogg actually somehow was in the military. I know, shocked. Apparently didn't have too bad of a career. And I guess was at Desert Shield at this time. Thankfully not wrestling on this card.
No, but maybe being over there in the desert, he got all the Armstrong brothers' personality.
Maybe. And none of their ability to work.
That is just kind of cruel. You're Bob Armstrong's son, and you don't have the talent your brothers have, but you have all the personality.
Yeah, kind of like how Wyatt got everything. Poor Bo.
But anyway, I mean, just a clean finish, and Eaton wins with the Alabama Jam. You know, they go back and forth. I mean, it's a very, very solid, just mid-card match.
It was a very, very Southern style match.
Hence my damn
which I feel like is
good.
why you gave the damn good and I gave the it's all right, it's good. But we do get a really good match next too.
Yeah, we get the women.
Yes.
As it's from the Japan Women's from the JWP, which was Japan Women's something promotion, I guess, or I don't know.
Well,
But which was an all women's promotion in Japan. They sent.
I should know this. Wait, I do know it. Oh, continue.
All right, it's Miss A and Miki Hanada against Mami Kitamura and Itsuki Yamasaki. And God, just Capetta.
Project. It was Project.
At least whenever it's something like this, although it is somewhat kind of random, you understand why TNA, whenever they bring people over, why they shorten the names.
Yeah.
Because particularly with it being, I love Gary Michael Capetta. I think he's a great ring announcer, but I don't necessarily know if he'd had the chance to work on the names. He's kind of bumbling as he goes along.
Mm-hmm. It was kind of funny.
Oh, apparently it's the JWP doesn't stand for anything.
Right, I thought it stood for Project.
Well, I guess it'd be if anything, the P stands for Purorisu, which is Japanese pro wrestling. But
No. That's the Yoshi Puroresu is sort of a modifier after JWP. I thought it was always JWP Yoshi Puroresu.
Well,
Am I wrong
here's
on
the
that?
Wikipedia, and I'll just JWP Joshi Purorisu, also known as JWP Project or simply JWP, and that's it. There's no JWP doesn't seem to actually stand for anything. So, or at least not listed through Wikipedia. So.
Okay. Oh wait. When Japan Women's Pro Wrestling, ravaged by internal politics, split up into two camps.
So I guess it did stand for Japanese Women's Pro Wrestling.
At one point, yes. It's kind of like, okay, what happened essentially was they had an NWO and an NWO Wolfpack.
But this match, and this is something you've got to give WCW a ton of credit for. This match was something that was incredibly different from not only the rest of the show, but really from like almost anything that you'd kind of seen in North America at that point, particularly with women.
Yeah, I don't think This was before WWE kind of took the same pattern, bringing a couple of Japanese women's tag teams and have them go at it. But yeah, this was very entertaining.
Pretty stiff, and it's not like there are some technical issues here and there, but it's them working in front of a different audience on a probably I don't necessarily know how big their audience was in Japan, but in front of a pretty packed arena and in front of
A very active audience,
yeah.
which isn't something you typically get in Japanese pro wrestling. At least in terms of like, they're actively engaged, but it's not as vocal.
So I mean, yeah, definitely kind of an interesting thing going on. So
Some ridiculously stiff kicks.
yes. And you got some suplexes, and
It was just awesome. It was a fun match. It wasn't like the best of what, this type of style is, but it was good. Definitely a nice break from all the Southern style wrestling.
And I honestly have to assume that this deal was made probably before Dusty came back in and got control of the book again. Because while he kind of seemed excited throughout the action, this is not something that Dusty Rhodes would book.
No.
And we never saw him again, so.
Unfortunately.
So yeah, from there we go to Buddy Landell and Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah.
And Dustin's really, really green at this point.
Yeah.
You can see the potential, but it's just, it's not great.
Yeah, I don't know how this got that much time.
You don't know?
Well, didn't we just establish that Dusty didn't have control of the book?
No,
at this
he
point?
did. He started booking like whenever he came back in, which would have been.
I thought you just said he didn't for this card.
No, he did for early '91 and everything. But as I said,
the deal was made.
I think
Okay,
that
I
they
misunderstood
made
what
the
you
arrangement
said.
to bring them in for the match before that happened.
Misunderstood what you said.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. This sucked. So hard.
I wouldn't say so hard. I mean, it's just
so hard. Stop. It sucks so hard. It's Dustin Rhodes before he was good and Buddy Landell.
I'd save the so hard for another match later in the show, but
No. There is no save. It stays with it. They both suck so hard.
But yeah, Dustin wins. There's next.
Yeah, then we get a segment making fun of the Olsen Patriots situation. Classy.
Where in this show, because I'm reading a review because I don't remember exactly where it was, where in this show was the Danger Zone?
I don't remember. Wasn't it before the Royal Family Young Pistols?
I think so, which would mean it'd be right here. But yeah, it's possibly one of the most...
No. Danger Zone is later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we go ahead and mention it?
It's after Zank. It's after Zank. No, let's save it for after Zank.
All right, we get the Royal Family against the Young Pistols, who are no longer the wild-eyed Southern Boys.
Oh no.
Rate the names. Well, which one was better, Young Pistols, Southern Boys, or wild-eyed Southern Boys?
Wild-eyed Southern Boys.
You gotta go with
10 out of 10. Southern Boys, 2 out of 10. Young Pistols, -3 out of 10.
And it's still Armstrong and Smothers, and they're fine in this kind of undercard babyface tag team role. And, this match is there. It's not. It's probably better than you expect, considering that one side is Jack victorying Rip Morgan, but it's still not great.
It's not.
And this is another one where you get kind of the weird finish.
Yeah, it was a ridiculously odd finish.
But I thought it kind of worked in this match. I
What?
thought it kind of worked here.
Yeah, for the royal family and the Young Pistols, it worked. It was kooky in a good way.
Because the royal family has Smothers up for their finish, which I guess is some kind of double suplex. I don't ever recall seeing a match where the royal family ever won. So I'd be,
No.
I don't know, maybe they drop him into like a fucking Orange Crush Bomb or something, but I'd assume not given the time, but I honestly couldn't tell you. But they have them both up in a vertical suplex, like, him in between them. Armstrong comes in, drop kicks one, and that the balance kind of shifts, and it allows Smothers to fall on top for the win.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't like the only kind of. They were doing a lot of stuff. Like the Eaton Armstrong match had another one where they kind of had a suplex that was kind of reversed, and I said, it's them kind of doing different stuff, and spots I usually don't see, and so I give them more leeway for that.
They get a tiny bit of leeway from me for that. But hey, we get DDP talking next.
Yeah, DDP versus Teddy Long, and this weird kind of heel versus heel manager stuff. Speaking of, there is something about the WWE Network that really pissed me off with this show.
What?
We'll get there whenever we get there.
Okay, thanks for bringing it up and not following through.
This segment reminded me of it, and so whenever we actually get to the match, I'll mention it.
Okay.
Right. Is that good enough for you?
No. But I'll live.
You see what I have to deal with, everybody.
I'll live. Long live Triple H. But hey, we get the Z-Man.
It's Taylor versus Zink, and for a no DQ match, it's really bland. There's no reason really for it to be no DQ.
Yeah, without the no DQ, it's actually a decent match. It's a good match, I think. I think it's the best Zink match we've watched.
Better than Zink Pillman at 92? I don't think it comes close.
Yes. Ooh. I'd have to watch them back to back. But I feel like I enjoyed this one more for some reason.
You feel like you're wrong. I know it's been a year, but you're wrong.
Maybe I am.
We were talking about the Zink Pillman match as being like a 4-star match. This is nowhere close.
God, then I am. I really need to rewatch that match then.
Well, you got the WWE Network now.
Yeah, I do.
I guess you need more Z-Man in your life.
I do. Don't we all?
No. But yeah, like a cheap kind of nothing finish whenever York distracts the referee, which why would you really need to distract the referee in an no-DQ match? But
Dusty kind of dusty?
A little bit.
Yep.
So, yeah, Taylor wins, and afterwards we get racism.
See, okay. I feel like I remember the Zank match being a waste of Pillman's talent.
No. Go back and rewatch it.
God damn it. Gotta watch another Zank match again?
You just say that we all need more zinc?
Well, obviously,
you need more vitamin zinc.
But now we get... God.
Yes, but now we get racism.
Now we get the danger zone.
And Paulie brings out El Gigante and is the most. It's up there with one of the most racist segments I've seen.
Oh, that's saying a lot, but yeah.
Like, it's, especially with. I know that there's not a lot of difference, particularly with it being a show in Arizona and it being 91 WCW, but as somebody
Playing
who
to the
lived
crowd.
in Argentina, Argentina isn't Mexico, Paulie.
Was El Gigante from
He
Argentina?
was.
I had no idea. Paulie, how
He's
dare you lie to me?
Argentina's greatest wrestling export, and God, that's sad.
Is that true? There's got to be someone better, right?
I'd actually say Argentina's greatest wrestling export was the Titanes en el Ring, or the really terrible kind of remake of it, 100% Lucha. Which, if I ever felt like being mean, I'd make you watch one of those movies, a Spanish movie full of like proto PG, like WWF gimmicks,
That
and
sounds
terrible,
awesome.
terrible wrestling.
That sounds awesome.
It's not.
We can Mystery Science 3000 it.
They are bad.
As long as there are subtitles. My Spanish is not that good.
I don't think there are. I don't think they made
I
subtitled
think-
versions.
Well, someone get on that.
But yeah, that's actually one of the weird things. Wrestling was huge in Argentina in the 70s. And it was like all these really kind of goofy gimmicks, like the Mummy and the Red Knight, and like all these, as I said,
That sounds awesome.
I don't know how much footage of it survived, but then in the early 2000s, early to mid, they kind of did a remake that was called 100% Lucha, and it had like gimmicks like the bus driver and the delivery boy.
Yes, this is awesome.
And I'm pretty sure they did 2 movies beyond just the weekly TV show.
There was a weekly TV show? Oh my god. I must seek this out.
It looks
Looks
like both the movies are on YouTube.
Well, I know how I'm spending my weekend.
Figure out what they're saying. And they had like American.
I think I can figure it out. It's wrestling. I can make up my own things, and I think I'll get the
They
point.
had an American gimmick where the guy clearly wasn't American. He was like an army guy. And like an Irish, like Highlander type gimmick called McFloyd.
Oh my god, I will be watching this. Holy shit. I know what I'm picking for next week.
Oh shit, I forgot about their version of PN News, Hip Hop Man.
There's a non-union Argentinian PN News.
Only it's like this tiny Argentinian guy. But yeah, his gimmick is
it's
that
not a big Argentinian guy. That's sad and sad.
his gimmick is that he is a rapper, and more PN News style rapper than like John Cena rapper.
Awesome. Holy shit, we need to get through this show so I can watch this.
But yeah, getting back to the actual show, which I know it's probably not as much fun as.
No, it's not.
But Paulie talks about how all the illegals in the crowd look to El Gigante as their hero.
And he's immigration.
No.
Oh, and he's dressed up as a matador.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the Zeb Coulter stuff on steroids.
Yeah, and like actually more like actually racist than kind of Yeah, it was bad. It was
But after
bad.
that, I mean, we get admittedly way too short. We get Hanson and Vader going apeshit for 6 minutes.
Yes, way too short. Damn you. Disappointing me. WCW. I look and see. I didn't actually look at the match time. I looked, it's all Hanson versus Vader. Awesome. Yes. Oh, 6 minutes. Damn you. But it was an awesome 6 minutes.
Yes, and the crowd like really started getting into it. And honestly, I mean, it's really like the first time that Vader looked like a big deal in the U.S.
Because he is a big motherfucking deal.
Well, I'm not disagreeing.
He's Vader. I know. I never said you were.
God knows I love Vader. Vader is my boy.
You don't get Vader. I get Vader. You gave me the Z-Man. I had to get something.
You get Davey Richards and Triple H. Isn't that enough? I'll even be nice and give you post 2002 Shawn Michaels. I'll take 98 prior
that's out
Shawn
there.
Michaels and
Whoa. No. You don't get to divide them up. You take them all. You take them all. Man. But yeah, way too short. Awesome. And they both get themselves disqualified.
And it's this weird kind of situation where the referee's getting like way too involved in the match. I don't blame them for beating his ass. The referee, they're just fighting. It's not like it's, they're using chairs against each other. And he like gets right in the middle. What are they supposed to do? They shove him out of the way.
You know what?
By the way,
that is one brave referee.
Speaking of,
even in with wrestling is fake, I don't think you would want to get in the way of Vader and Hanson brawling. Chances are you would die.
Speaking of referees and getting way too involved, I got to tell everybody, up today on WWE Network, and I'm not trying to shill. I mean, it's just I watched it earlier, and it's like shit. More people should see that.
Corporate shill.
The new episode 54 of World Class, as I said, just added today, Tuesday the 11th. Go out there, watch it. It's one of the most important matches in the history of World Class. And as I said, I mean, they put it up today, and it's great, and there's this great story being told in it, and it sparks, like, the program that would carry World Class for years. So.
You shill. You used to be one of the people, man.
I tell you what, WWE, if you want to pay me to talk about your network, I will take your money.
You're like corporate Kane, man.
I will sell out happily. I have no morals whatsoever. I'll even praise Triple H as one of the greatest of all time. I might hate myself while doing it, but I'll do it. Instead of an overindulgent hack.
No, we're pushing that for next week. Don't get me started.
I'll say he was absolutely right for going 25 minutes with Scott Steiner coming fresh off of major injuries. And
Hush. Save it.
I'm selling myself to the people that listen to the show from WWE.
Save it. You can show next week. Oh, man. So, what do we get next? Oh, yeah. Lex Luger's best match?
I don't necessarily know about best match. I'd say, there are a few matches I'd put above it, but honestly...
What would you put above it?
Flair at WrestleWar 90. Probably Pillman at Halloween Havoc 89.
I haven't seen that match.
Maybe.
Did not know he wrestled Pillman.
I right at the level of Steamboat at Great American Bash 89. And then I think you could also make a case, although it's a different kind of match, with his next pay-per-view match, which would be with Sting against the Steiners at Super Brawl.
Okay, that should have been clear in my question. My statement, best singles match, but I never knew he wrestled Pillman. I haven't seen that
But,
match.
I mean, yeah, and it's a different kind of Lex Luger match than you'd expect.
And it's with Dan Spivey. I mean, is this Spivey's best match ever?
Yeah, he might have some stuff in Japan. I know he did several tours over there. But as far as on U.S. soil, I wouldn't hesitate to say that this is probably his best match.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by this match.
I told you it was good.
Yeah. But what do you expect me to think? It's Lex Luger and Dan Spivey. Like,
and I'll say this, I mean, this is one of Luger's last really good matches. But he had, and just me kind of talk about the thing from 89 to early 91. I think that he is highly, highly underrated. I mean, yes, he gets put with good people, but I don't think that's all on them. I don't think it's all him being a broom.
I'd have to rewatch some of them.
And
maybe I'll do a breakdown at some point.
And I think from 92 on, especially after he injures himself, he's never the same. Never the same. And I will absolutely not defend any of that stuff, but From here, I mean, I think that, he's very solid, and, he's not just the guy that gets carried. I think he holds his own, against Luger, against Steamboat, against Pillman, against Spivey.
Luger held his own against Luger?
Damn it. Against Flair, I think. I'm pretty sure Flair was the one I forgot there, but...
That would be an interesting match. Lex Luger wrestles himself.
I'd like to see what, 89 Luger would try and get out of, 97 Luger.
God. He'd probably just kill himself. And be like, this is what I become.
No, he'd probably look at how jacked I am still.
Look at how jacked and tanned I am. They just have a pose down.
And then some really uncomfortable, not PG at all, self-love, I guess is the only way you'd call
it. Are we getting into the question of if you have sex with a clone, is it gay sex or masturbation?
Oh God, let's just talk about this match.
Which of course now I'm thinking of that Arnold movie where he's a clone, and it had what's the Full House guy's name? It was the villain.
I never saw that movie, so.
Oh, well, that situation comes out in an Arnold one-liner. I told you to go fuck yourself.
But yeah, I mean, this match, it's higher impact than you'd expect, and Spivey's busting out all these moves that you really don't see.
A lot of pile drivers.
Yeah, he hits a pile driver. He hits a tombstone. He's doing DDTs and suplexes and.
Yeah, what happened to the Dan Spivey we all know and not love?
Punch kick, body slam.
Back body drop.
And he's going off the top rope and hitting elbows and.
Yeah, that's something. Which was not
better than Punk's elbow.
Oh, that's a high hurdle to leap?
Absolutely. Punk is the perfection of the elbow.
Mm-hmm. He is. He's the Triple H of elbows.
Absolutely.
Which means he's the best of all time.
But, yeah, it's one of again, a different kind of finish.
Yep. Yeah.
Luger goes up to the top, and Spivey goes up to meet him, and he kind of rolls it into a cradle, which it's like, what?
Fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
Fucking bizarre. I just saw Luger do a cradle. In a very power fest match, that is how they ended.
And so, yeah, Luger retains, and then after the match, we get him getting presented with a new U.S. title by Nikita Koloff.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, and something you can't make up, the new title doesn't actually get used right away because Koloff breaks it.
Yep.
It's like, what?
Yep. It was bizarre.
And then, he promo where he talks about like Bash 88 and losing the U.S. title to Luger and how he never forgave him for that.
Yeah. Going back in history. I kind of like the continuity there.
I mean, it's a nice callback, but it is something where it's like most of the people there don't really care.
Yeah, but I'm sure you were marking out like crazy.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, then War Games, right?
No, not quite.
War Games, right?
No, because remember I said there
War
was something
Games,
that pissed
right?
me off about
War
this
Games,
show.
War Games, 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 War Games.
Up next, we've got Doom
War
against the
Games.
Freebirds.
Damn it. You son of a bitch.
And,
Did you play your vinyl while you were watching
no,
this
but that
match?
actually relates to it.
Oh,
How
okay.
the fuck do you dub over Badstreet USA, WWE Network? I'm pretty sure Hayes owns the rights.
Maybe he wouldn't give it to them. Who knows? He probably drunkenly gave them to Rosa.
But I'm sure you kind of know the interesting story here.
It was something weird with the titles, wasn't it?
In the sense that before this match aired, Doom were the champions going into this match. But before this match aired on TV tapings, the Freebirds had already lost them to the Steiner brothers.
Yep.
And so whenever the Freebirds win the titles here, it's a negative title reign.
Oh, man.
And
Fun times.
And one of the weirdest kind of things, they introduce their road manager, Big Daddy Dink.
Oh, boy.
And and he gets his own entrance.
Yes, he does.
Which, I mean, considering the fact I don't know if DDP was really like taking bumps at this point, I get why they'd bring someone like Dink in, because as we kind of talked about, even in the worst show that we've ever done, I think, Bash 91, he was still taking some decent bumps for him.
Yep.
But it was
I
like
love that he's Big Daddy
so
Dink.
kind of.
It was the most Freebirds thing you could ever fucking do.
A year after Oliver Humperdinck was wearing Hawaiian shirts and managing the Samoans, you bring him in with a leather jacket, and all of a sudden he's rock and roll.
Yes.
But yeah, this match is not good at all.
No. No, it's soft.
And it's such a weird finish. I mean, I know that Doom I've seen some of the TV before this, and I know that there were like issues with Doom. But considering that like Butch Reed botches the weapon, and then
Yeah.
Ron Simmons gets turned on.
Yeah. Yeah. What a joy.
Yes, yes, yes. So.
But finally, War Games.
Well, we get Doom breaking up too.
Fuck that.
As
You already said it. You already said it. That's all that needs to be said about what happened.
what about Teddy Long just like ripping on Ron Simmons for costing them the tag team titles? Oh, it's not me.
What?
Oh, I was just apparently I was going through the schedule on WWE Network, just looking at stuff, and apparently coming on the network tomorrow, there's an old school card from '86, and it's got Savage Steamboat from Boston Garden, as well as it looks like Cart Foundation Bulldogs, and so it's like, ooh. But it's not up until tomorrow, damn it.
Maybe that's what we'll do next week.
See, that would probably be infinitely preferable to whatever else you were picking.
Dude, you don't want to see Big Daddy Diesel as the champ?
I actually don't mind Diesel under some circumstances, but...
Whoa. Tagging with Ramon?
No, not that Diesel. I'll say this, I think that the what they call it, the good friends, better enemies or whatever. That match with Shawn is better than a lot of other guys' best matches. And, you know, there are a few kind of working hard performances by Nash stapled through his career, sprinkled. And, you know, under circumstances, I can watch him, but I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a Kevin Nash fan, but, you know.
Well, then you're really going to hate me.
Probably.
What, you don't think that him and King Mabel got the best out of each other?
No. Don't you do it. I give you War Games, and that's your response?
Hey, there is a great match on that card.
So, should we talk War Games before you crush my hopes and dreams?
Yes.
Right. It's the Steiner brothers, Sting and Flying Brian, against the Four Horsemen, except Larry Zbyszko's filling in for Arn Anderson. They never really say why. I think like it was
Injury.
yeah, I think he had like a herniated disc or something.
Yeah, this match suffered due to the lack of Arn. Everything suffers due to the lack of Arn.
Well, I mean, yes, on a thing, but given the Horseman team in this situation, I don't think that Zbyszko ends up being the weak link at all.
That's true.
But before that, I just have to say, you know, this is one thing where I really got to hold it against Dusty. Pillman is just fucking king-sized and a half in this match. I mean, I'd put it up there with one of the best War Games performances of all time. Pillman's in this match.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
God, I thought he literally died a couple times.
And more than just the bumping, I mean, that first 5 minutes, him and Wyndham, it's like, holy shit.
Put it up there with Austin next year?
Yeah. You know, it's high energy and they're going back and forth. And like but it's this kind of cutesy, you know, here, let me show how creative I am. It's more like, it feels like he's just trying to find new ways to hurt Wyndham.
Yep. With the short cage.
Yes. And so, and then...
But yeah, he just freaking kills Wyndham. It's just... God. It looked like they were just going to end the match there. Like, oh, Pillman kills Wyndham.
And Wyndham's already juicing. And then Flair comes in for the heels, and Pillman's still just this fucking fight the size of, you know, the size of the fucking cage, and he's taking it to Flair, and he's taking it to Wyndham until, and it's like those. As I said, it's such a good performance that it fucking gets you into it, considering that it's a 25-year-old match. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, you get pumped up, and then you get sad. Then you get sad that he had to leave early.
Sting comes in, and it's especially I think that War Games matches, particularly in this kind of thing, where it's built around like the entrance. It's the kind of match that really caters to Sting's strengths. Sting's strength isn't putting together a 15, 20-minute match. Sting's strength is being like that little spark plug in those 2-minute bursts.
Yep, come in, fly around a bit.
Yeah, and he's
just don't ask him to sell.
And he's doing stuff like he's doing the freaking ring to ring splash and stuff, and it's just he looks great, and he's paired off with Flair, and their chemistry seems to be really good, and well, I mean their chemistry is it's always good, but I mean you even compare it to like 90, and admittedly that was one where they had to plan out a full match, but Sting's a lot healthier here, and I think it's really starting to show again.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he's not coming right off that knee injury.
Yep.
And so
But then Sid's gonna Sid.
Yeah, Zbyszko comes in, the Horsemen or the Steiners come in, and fucking Sid.
Fucking Sid. Well, fucking geniuses at WCW that one decided to make the cage that short.
Well, but even before that, you can still say fucking Sid.
This is true.
Because
at any point in time, has Sid ever had a good match? This is a legitimate question.
The Michaels matches I remember as being better than you'd really expect, considering that they're Sid.
Yeah, well, it's in his prime, Shawn Michaels. I mean,
yeah.
Shit, he could drag Khali to a 4-star match.
But outside of that, no, probably not. There might be something with Brett where it's a similar kind of dragging situation.
Oh, maybe.
I don't recall.
I actually think I was looking at a card that had I'm pretty sure one of the In Your Houses had Brett Sid.
Well, the one that I was thinking of right away was the Brett Sid cage match from Raw.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that being pretty entertaining, particularly in spite of like them restarting the match at the end of the show after Austin gets involved early and that kind of thing. But I couldn't tell you how good it is because it's been so long since I've seen it. But, Sid comes in. First of all, there seems to be like Sid has no grace at all.
No. And it doesn't help that the floor is coated and there's blood everywhere and Flair's blading and Wyndham's still gushing like a maniac.
But for someone that had like the look of Sid, he can't even pick people up and make it look natural. Like he's just doing simple spots with people and it just looks so awkward.
Forced.
Yes. And and admittedly, this is partially on WCW producing, but they cut right to a camera where he's calling a spot very loudly with Rick Steiner.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Like, it is the most obvious spot calling I think I've seen ever.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's right there in their faces and they're not trying to hide it at all.
No.
And it's loud enough where you can, like, I'm pretty sure the words flying clothesline are heard. And then, he goes along and he practically fucking kills Pillman.
Yeah, knocks him out.
Which, what the hell?
Yeah. Oh, hey, this guy in powerbombing seems to have gone out. You know what? Let's powerbomb him again.
And then you get...
Which gives us El Gigante.
Yes, you get El Gigante coming in.
God, this would have been a 5-star match if they'd actually, I assume, let it go to its natural finish. As opposed, I assume this was all improvised here.
Probably.
I don't think the intention was to have El Gigante throw in the towel.
I don't know. I remember reading some people saying that it was partially because Gigante Flair was doing like better than expected house show business, and so they kind of had to find a way to include him.
That cracks me up. But yeah, fantastic match though.
Oh yeah.
Till the end.
Even with the end, I think it is just. Yeah, it is. It's really good.
Yep. Thumbs up.
All right, so perhaps not surprisingly, I'm going to start MVP LVP.
Oh no. You don't get to start MVP.
I always let you start.
No, that's not true. You pick the show, so I get to start. That's how it goes. And then when I pick the show, I let you go.
I don't recall that being the rules.
MVP, my man, Brian Pillman. LVP, Paul Heyman. All right, go ahead.
You know what? I don't care that you took him. MVP Brian Pillman.
Is this the first time we've had a?
No, we've definitely done one where it's been like a one-person show.
Are you sure? I think we've always avoided having the same MVP.
I'm 100% sure it's happened before, but I think only once. And then my LVP is going to be. It's gonna be Butch Reed.
Okay.
I don't think he added much to that at all, and he's the guy in that match that honestly I like the least. So he takes the fall.
All right.
So what are we? Oh, before we actually go into that, I actually want to read something that I wrote. That is kind of whenever I was writing more, and I was writing for Place to Be Nation, which I'm still technically kind of involved with. I just haven't written anything in a really long time. But I've been told that, whenever I come back, there's a spot waiting for me. But we did a War Games retrospective, and I actually wrote about the 91 War Games. And I kind of looked at how it changed, how it kind of changed for WCW. Because it ended up being the unintentional blow-off of the Ric Flair-Sting rivalry. Because, 4 months later, Flair would be out of the company, and they two wouldn't wrestle again in a major match until 94. And it's in a lot of ways kind of the 91 War Games as a whole. As much of a great match it is it's also due to some missed opportunities. It's they missed some opportunities,
Bittersweet.
Yeah. Pillman should have been a top babyface for his performance. Instead, he never gets revenge on Sid. He never really gets revenge on Wyndham. They have the match at Super Brawl, which is a really great match, but Pillman is soon storyline retired after he loses the Loser Leaves Town fall at a Clash of the Champions, working as the Yellow Dog.
Oh, God.
Sting, right after the show, ends up wrestling against his teammates on the next pay-per-view before getting involved with Nikita Koloff. He doesn't really get involved with any of the other guys in the rest of the match. Wyndham is turned face by the Summer whenever they need somebody to go against Luger. And Scott Steiner ends up tearing his bicep. And, if anything, the only real connecting piece in this great match was the association of Zbyszko and Anderson, because after filling into them, a few months later they'd be a tag team and would both be charter members of the Dangerous Alliance. So in a lot of ways, it ends up being the end of an era, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. And I said I was going to read, that was more reworded. General statement, but so.
All right. So, as promised, for next week, Diesel, in the main event, will be taking on King Mabel for the title at SummerSlam 95. Hey, cheer up. Isaac Yankum's on the card. DDS.
Son of a bitch.
Hey, I'm giving you a Michaels Razor Ramon ladder match. Chill the fuck out.
Still, you son of a bitch.
What, you don't want to see Bret Hart and Isaac Yankum DDS?
I do not.
Or The Undertaker and Kama?
Son of a bitch.
Or Barry Horowitz and Skip?
Yeah.
Mm.
Still, you son of a bitch.
But what about... What? The Smoking Guns and the Blue Brothers? With Uncle Zeb. Uncle Zeb.
I hate you so much, Rex.
Hey, Hakushi and the 1-2-3 Kid opens it up.
All right, that might be decent.
And Hunter Hearst Helmsley takes on Bob Holly.
Oh, boy.
But mostly Diesel and King Mabel. Are you excited?
Oh, yeah.
Apparently I picked too much 2001 WWF.
Well, you do.
I think we've done like 3.
You've done 5.
No,
Yes.
it hasn't been 5.
It has been 5.
I think you're counting like a 2000 event in there or a
You did
2002 event
Royal
in there.
Rumble 2001. No Way Out 2001. WrestleMania
Okay.
17.
Oh shit, I forgot the Royal Rumble. Oh yeah, we did 17.
Invasion. And
Yeah.
SummerSlam
Oh yeah, that's
2001. You have picked 5.
All right. You know what? Someday I'm gonna do the numbers and see how many 91 and 92 WCW we've done. But nope, now we're going 95. Diesel, WWE champ, WWF champ it is.
You are a bastard. After you teased me with the idea of Bulldog's Heart Foundation.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how long that old school episode's gonna be.
I guess.
Maybe one week we'll do like combine 2 interesting ones and do it. All right, have a good one.
All right, this has been episode 53 of Off the Top Rope Pro Wrestling Podcast. Please tune in next week where we'll be reviewing the news of the week, as well as, for some ungodly reason, SummerSlam 95.
Suck it, Mike. Suck it.
We will see you all next week, and I am foaming with rage right now.
Have a good one, folks.